Spurs suffer defeat in the French capital. However, are there positive signs ahead? Welcome to Project Spurs.
Oh, the streets are cold and grey, but the fire in our hearts won't stray from the pitch where dreams collide. We'll stand together side by side. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in, when the Spurs go marching in, I wanna be there in that number. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in.
Hello, welcome back to Project Spurs. Just a quick one this morning or this afternoon, just looking back at last night's unfortunate 5-3 defeat against PSG in the Champions League. Joined with Callum as ever. Callum, how are we today?
Yeah, you got lucky. I'm working from home today, mate. So I'm still on call, but we feel more positive than we did Monday, don't we? At least
Yes.
Not fully, but a little bit. So we're getting there. We're getting there, mate.
I certainly feel a lot more positive than I did Monday. Probably about 10 minutes into the game, I thought, this is a bit better. This is a lot better. I was happier, certainly. And I think there's definitely positive signs ahead. But we'll get into it. We'll get your thoughts. We've got Jacob waiting as well to cover his thoughts. I'll give you mine. But just before we do, we'll just go over Thomas Frank. After the game, he said, "I'm pleased with the performance. It was the reaction that I wanted from the players. Strikers scoring 2 goals. The whole team performed well. Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall, big positives." Now, I'd echo that massively. I thought Lucas Bergvall and Archie Gray were excellent yesterday. And while I would give him pelters sometimes on here, I thought Richarlison played quite well. And I think that's probably because he's got a player up top with him. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was still complaining about Richarlison, and I will continue to complain about Richarlison because no matter how good his goal was, he still makes the simple things look like he's a duck out of water, if you get what I mean. He very much, I wonder if there's a brain in there. I do. It does concern me. But no, I mean, having that focal point, it was quite interesting, wasn't it? Because we went with 2, i.e. number 9s, or a 9 and a 10, if you want to call them, situations. So it was interesting, at least, because that's how we kind of went at them in the Super Cup a little bit, wasn't it? Until obviously that fell apart, but we just ran out of steam then.
Yeah, I think we ran out of steam then, and I think the quality of PSG sort of took over large elements of last night. But when the team was initially announced, it could have been like 2 or 3 different formations, and again, it's trying to like guess what he's doing. And I thought it was a 3 at the back, 5 across the middle, and 2 up front, but it wasn't the case. It looked like a 4-4-2, then a diamond, and then it was 4-3-3. So, but it seemed to work. A lot more energy in the middle, which I was pleased with. Val, Archie Gray, and Pape Sarr. Pape Sarr played well in spells as well. But yeah, let's bring Jacob in. Jacob's going to give us his thoughts on the game as well last night. Jacob, thanks for joining us. Welcome to Project Spurs. Just give us your thoughts on last night's
game. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting too much from the game. PSG away was never going to be an easy fixture for us, especially given Sunday's result. But when I saw that team on Sunday, and then I saw the same kind of layout and mentality last night, I just kind of knew we were in for a bit of trouble. I think we played a lot better. I think we showed a lot more fight than we showed against Arsenal. But I think it was a really cowardly move on Sunday to go in with a 5 back and 2 defensive midfielders. It kind of from minute one, as soon as that whistle goes, you're inviting them on. You're telling them that you're not going to go at them. We lacked creativity, but that was something we saw a lot more of last night, which I was happy about. There were definitely some improvements. Still, Richarlison for me is not the one, I'm afraid, and I think there's a lot to be done in January, especially with that front line when we got players like Kulusevski and Solanke out. But saying that, I was very, very impressed with Kolo Muani. Obviously, he's playing against all his mates, so I don't know if that maybe had an impact on his performance.
Do you think it was more Kolo Muani's going, look what I can do, PSG? You've got rid of me, you've shipped me out twice now, look what I can do?
Well, I was thinking that. I was thinking after that game, he's gone home happy regardless because he's got 2 goals against his parent club. So he's proved himself to us, but not only has he done that, he's also proved it to them. So whether or not he chooses or we choose to keep him on at the end of the season, or if he or we decide to send him back, then he's going in with a kind of a good rep already, and I think he really did make a statement for himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Who impressed you the most outside of Kolo Muani? I know there's 2 individuals in the middle of the park that seems to be getting the most reviews, but interested to see who was most impressive for you.
I think Bergvall had a decent game. He hasn't really been starting recently, so I think for him to come in and have that kind of effect was very nice. Obviously, he had the nice little flick leading up to the goal. And also Archie Gray, the other man on the screen now. I thought he had a great game, like many other Spurs fans. I looked at that starting lineup and I thought, what the bloody hell is Frank doing? But I think Archie Gray really, and I think he does it time and time again. I think Archie Gray, whenever he plays, whenever he starts, and everyone kind of goes, why are we doing that? I think he does prove himself time and time again, no matter where he plays. We've seen him play at left back, we've seen him play at centre half, we've seen him play in the middle. I think time and time again, he keeps proving himself. And I think maybe he does deserve a bit more game time than what he's getting.
Yeah, I like Archie Gray a lot. My concern was for this season is he going to be playing in at centre half? Is he going to be playing left back, right back? But he has played as a central midfielder under Thomas Frank in every appearance for him. And I think that's good long term. It's difficult when you've got a player that's so good, versatile, that can play in multiple positions, and then they kind of don't progress on. So I'm quite happy to see him there. And he played very well last night, went under the radar, I think, quite a lot of it. Do you see them both starting at the weekend against Fulham? May I lost Jacob there. You're back, Jacob. Do you see Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall? Do you see Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall starting on Saturday against Fulham?
I'd quite like to. I think after last night's performance, to go to the Parc des Princes and put on that kind of performance on the top level of football, I think they deserve to. Obviously, Frank's going to do what Frank's going to do, but I think they earned their spot in the side against Fulham on the weekend. Also, I'm not too sure what's going on with Xavi Simons. He hasn't started the last 3 games, I think I read somewhere, and I remember just thinking, these kind of games, Arsenal, PSG, they're the reason we signed him. And I don't really know what's going on there. But I don't know if maybe he needs to step up in the background and do a bit more to prove himself to Frank, because clearly players like Archie Gray and Bergvall are, and they're proving it on the pitch as well. I just think it's a little bit disappointing when we've had a player come in and we expect so much of him. I personally expected a lot of Xavi Simons. And I quite like to see him play more. But every time he comes on, he looks like he's gonna do something. He's got that kind of exciting thing about him when he's on the ball, but there's just never anything that really comes of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not sure if it's more of a confidence issue with him, or is Thomas Frank convinced of where he can play at the moment? Because we've seen so many tactical changes. Is it the case that he's not quite sure where he fits in? And you still with us, Jacob?
Yes, sorry. I don't know what's going on.
That's okay. Do you think that Thomas Frank's perhaps not too sure where Xavi Simons fits into his team at the moment because there's a lot of tactical changes?
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't know. There has been a lot of tactical changes, especially recently in the last few games. And I personally think we have a very, very strong midfield. We definitely have the depth and the numbers in the midfield. It's probably one of our biggest strengths within our squad right now. And yeah, I do think maybe that's the problem, that he's struggling to find somewhere to put Xavi Simons at the minute when you've got so much quality, especially happening in the middle, especially with like players like Pat Matar flying under the radar. He's a player I love to watch. Every time I watch him play, he's always got something to prove about himself, and he shows that on the pitch. Again, it's hard. That's where I do sympathise with Frank, because when you've got that much quality and that depth within the squad, it's hard to get everyone in. And yeah,
I find my biggest worry, one of my biggest worries at the moment, is the imbalance on the left-hand side. If you looked at a couple of occasions yesterday, and while I do like Jed Spence, he was trying to cross the ball multiple times with the outside of his right foot because he's clearly not comfortable on that left. And then when he is coming in from the left, he wants to cut in, which is causing the strikers to sort of hesitate with their runs, and we're missing opportunities. Where are you with recruitment at the moment? Do you see the left-hand side as a concern, as I do?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be honest, I don't think any of our left-hand side is really good enough at the minute. As much as I like Jed Spence, I think he's a brilliant footballer on his day. And obviously he's getting into the England side, which is just brilliant. Fair play to him. But then you've also got in front of him, when we choose to play in that formation, he's got someone like Erdebeer, which, I personally, I don't think it's good enough. I don't think there's enough real threat down that left-hand side, and I feel like Jed Spence wants to bring that threat, but it just doesn't seem to be working for him. And obviously he came to us as someone who plays on the right-hand side, and I do think he's a little bit out of his depth on that left-hand side, and maybe we should be looking for someone who's a bit more solid in that position.
I think when we bring Ndoggy on, it opens the pitch out a lot more. And I know there's a couple of other people that agree with a lot of stuff in the imbalance in there. Callum, where are you with the sort of that imbalance on the left-hand side? Do you prefer in Ndoggy, or do you think the recruitment needs to be looked into there mostly?
I like Udogie there. I don't like Spence there. I think it was a nice experiment while it lasted, but I don't think it works, to be honest, because if anything, it just exposed us at right back. Now, Archie ain't a right back, so he needs to play in the middle. Spence should be over there with Porro. So, yeah, we definitely need a left back for me, and the balance up front as well, because when we've seen Spence and Erdebeer play, doesn't work. They both want to run into the same space. I think the same with Richarlison in there. Spence just always wants to cut in because he's naturally right-footed. So he always wants to go in that area, bombing forward. It just doesn't work for me. So there's definitely the imbalance on the left. And I think last night, within reason, Spence was okay against Cavascelli, but I didn't think that sort of PSG's front line was that good, to be honest, compared to if they had Dembele playing and people like that, if you get what I mean. Barcola was pretty nonchalant yesterday. Same with Cavascelli, and they had that young striker. So it wasn't the greatest of stuff for Spence to do, if you get what I mean. But I do think Udogie is better in that left back position.
I agree. Jacob, just before we let you go, where are you at with the club itself? Are you happy with how things are going? Is there areas that you want to see improved? Obviously, same owner, but there's new people in charge. Where are you currently with the club as a whole? Jacob, you still with us? May have lost Jacob there. That's what happens on live. Oh, he might be back. Jacob, are you with us? No. Okay, well, where are you at with the club at the moment, Callum? So I think we're probably quite similar in terms of opinions.
We're both very level with it, aren't we? We know there's still work to be done, but because of the work we do with the club and seeing what the club do as well and speaking to different contacts, there is a good future there. It's just, it's going to take time. And I think there are a lot of people who aren't prepared to give it that time. But I am, to be honest, because at the end of the day, I've got nothing else to look at. I've got nothing else. What do? Do I go and support Man City? Do I go and support them blue idiots out in West London? Do I support the roaming gypsies down the road from us and all that? No, I'm going to stick with my club and make sure that I'm happy with what I see. Yeah, I'm not a season ticket holder anymore, so I don't have fully invested interest completely, but I see what they're doing from the younger age groups going up. I know we've all complained about Frank, but I'd rather stop ping-ponging and stick with something and make it work than dropping down and we'll go and get a Sean Dyche next or something like that. I mean, that's literally, I don't want us to be like that anymore. So I'd rather stability over fragmentation, mate.
Yeah, no, I agree. Jacob, just before we let you go, where are you currently with the club? Are you happy if things are progressing? Obviously, it's the same ownership, but there's different people in charge. Where are you at the moment?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're in a bit of a weird stage right now where obviously we've had Daniel Levy step down, who's had a fair amount of control over the past 18 years or whatever it is since he took over. I think for now everyone just needs to calm down a little bit. You know, I'm happy with Frank. I think we need to stop and breathe and let a manager actually have a couple of years to do something, because we weren't brilliant when Poch came in, you know, straight away. Do you know what I mean? But it took a couple of years, and then you know, we were competing. We finished second in the league for about 2 years in a row. We got to a Champions League final. You know, I think we really need to just back a manager for once. And I'm fed up because it's been going on for the last 6 years where we've had about, I couldn't tell you how many managers, but we've had some of the best in the world. We've given them 3 months and gone, oh no, this isn't good enough. See you later. And that's not how football works. So I think we need to just calm down a bit. We're going through a kind of a rough period behind the scenes where God knows what they're doing. They need to sort things out, or you know, I don't know what the owners are thinking at the moment. They're convinced they're not going to sell up, or if we do eventually being bought by someone, I don't know. But for now, with what's happening on the pitch, I think we just need to, you know, as Spurs fans as well, just make sure we're back in the club, because it's not going to be an easy period. So we may as well be prepared for it.
Absolutely, Jacob. We do appreciate you joining us today. Love to have you back on. We'll get you back on for a full episode very soon. But we appreciate your time.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Take it easy, man.
Take care. So yeah, just some thoughts from myself. I think there's a lot of positives from last night. But again, we're the architect of our own downfall. We overplay in areas. You can see from Romero, an unnecessary ball into Pap Sarr, who's losing. He's got his you know, he's facing his own goal. Shouldn't need to be able to do that. Someone straight up his arse.
What's your thoughts been on Romero the last couple of games, mate? Because I know this is an area of contention for us at the moment.
I'm very much similar to what I kind of thought in the summer. I felt like he was a brand new signing. Again, it was a signing because he's a World Cup winner. And on his day, he's absolutely superb. But when he has an off day, he has an off day. And I thought that last night he was poor in quite large elements of it. It doesn't need to make those silly... It doesn't need to be playing in tight areas is what he was doing. I would be very interested because I think Romero and Van der Ven are very similar. They both want to play with the ball, and we can't have that. We need someone that is a stopper, again, you know, and a no-nonsense defender. And I see Danzo as that, but I'd like to see what Luka Vuskovic would be like next to Mickey Van der Ven. He's a big unit anyway. I would be very interested in seeing that. I'm not looking for Romero to leave, but I think that there needs to be competition in there.
And
Certainly.
we've still got Takai and Dragu to come back in yet, haven't we, as well?
Yeah.
We don't know. Realistically, we don't know whether Dragusin still has legs, and we don't know if Takai actually exists or if he's an anime character in one of Solanke's different shows, isn't it?
I still like his picture though, where this is sort of the picture that goes out. I think I watched a couple of videos of him, and they're just videos punched together of highlights. And he's quick, he's quite tall, physical player. Be interested to see how he adapts to the league. But with regards to Romero, I just think he overplays in these tight areas that are just unnecessary, and he makes silly, rash decisions which cost us. I think he cost us really 2 goals yesterday. But however, there was a good reaction overall from Sunday. There was a really good reaction, and I think if we can limit those errors, individuals, keep that energy high in the middle from Bergvall, Sarr, Archie Gray, and then sort the imbalance out on that left-hand side, could cause some teams some serious problems. And look, we're not going to come up against an Arsenal, Chelsea, and PSG all the time. So we need to, if we can sort those errors, those silly errors, fix the imbalance and keep the energy high, we could be something.
Yeah, the problem is Spurs are our own worst enemies, aren't we, mate? And all that. And me and you have gone through it for so many times and all that.
It's difficult. It's exciting, but it's also worrying in the same sense as well. But Thomas Frank also commented today, we competed today. We showed a team with soul and character. Do you think we showed character?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think we showed character.
Finally, from Thomas. Go on.
Yeah, we showed character. We just got to show it all the time. And obviously Sunday we didn't. And today we have to. So, yeah, let's just make sure it goes on from here. That's the best thing for me, mate.
Yeah, Kayla Mawani, I thought was a big highlight, as we've said at the beginning of the show. I don't know if this perhaps was an audition to get back to PSG, maybe, who knows? Or this could be that we're starting to now see Kolo Muani. But Thomas Frank commented about Kolo Muani saying, I think today we saw what hopefully we can expect. I think even with 2 goals and assists in every game is possibly too much. I love to get that every single game. But as I said, the whole time he came in late with no preseason, no top fit. No, not top fit, sorry. Had 2 setbacks, especially with a dead leg and then a broken jaw. Today we saw a lot more. He's still not top fit. I don't know why he says top in everything, but he seems to say that a lot. So hopefully he can come and we can see more. I agree. I do hope that we can see more from Kolo Muani. He has had a bit of a stop-start. Where are you for Saturday? Are you starting Kolo Muani?
Yeah, Colo, I'd give him a go. I think just we need to get games into him at the moment. He is our best option up there. Richie, okay, yeah, if you are going to play Richie, then you've got to play someone else with him. I don't think that we will have the same sort of game as we did against PSG in terms of their style. They play very open. Fulham are very compact under Marco Silva. So if we do have, say, them 2, Simmons maybe comes in, but like you guys were saying earlier, I'm concerned that why he's not getting games at the moment. He seems to be a bit part player, maybe just doesn't work in the style. So then do you do with what do you call it, Bergvall in there and then a Gray? I don't think though, and this is only my only concern, you cannot play Bentancur, Sarr, Gray and Bergvall. I don't think. There's too much imbalance in there. And if we're going to really be horrible and be really nitpicky, Sarr was the worst one out of all of them, to be honest, last night. That even makes Bentancur look good. Let's put it that way. So I think that and me and you both love Bentancur. We think he's a class player, don't we? And we were very happy when he signed his new deal in the summer compared to Basuma, who ironically will be signing a new deal, but only on an extension basis so we can sell the fucker in January or in the summer.
Money for once.
Well, exactly. That's what we hope to get. But yeah, I don't think it works with all three youngsters plus that, because it does restrict you in the forward line. That was only my concern yesterday, because I think we only had two outlets, and realistically, Moani and Richarlison want to play the same position, don't they? They want to be in the same space. So maybe just one more option might give us more space and openness against Fulham for me.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the nail on the head there. I think Moani and Richarlison, why they complemented each other as forward lines, they both wanted to run the channel, and they can't both run the channel. And equally, we played with a diamond in attack, but also kind of went to a three up top. I think Sarr sort of drifted a little bit. But when we played with that diamond and Sarr was the more advanced, we had two wing backs, because Gray could have dropped in or Bentancur could have dropped in. And then the problem you have is Pedro Porro can run it. Spence can run it, but Spence will cut back in, which then will delay your forward line, or he's trying to cross with the outside of his right foot, and it just causes too much imbalance. We could have had more chances with a left-sided player, and again,
we could have got undone a lot more as well because of Porro with his forward runs as well. That was quite suspect last night, where he was getting caught out in behind the man and all that. That was my only concern with him going forward. That's the problem.
Yeah, so I think we're all in agreement, and it is that Sire that came on with us on Monday is in agreement that there needs to be an imbalance. The imbalance needs to be fixed pretty pronto, to be honest. I agree with you. I thought Sarr played relatively quite well in the first half, struggled a bit in the second. Kayla Moani was excellent, and I quite like the two up top, but it does mean that we need better wingers, fullbacks, wingbacks, however you want to call it. Where are you for for Saturday? What sort of formation and lineup do you expect?
I'd probably go 4-3-3 again if we are going to say that it was a 4-3-3. I think that's the best aspiration we can say, because if not, if we say Archie Gray played a centre-back last night, everyone's going to have a heart attack for it. So if we are going to go 4-3-3, maybe if we're going to do it, I'd probably go Doggy, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Bentancur or Paulinho. I don't like them together, to be honest. Don't see it working. And I think we just keep being proven right with Gray and Bergvall either side, and probably say Kudus, Richarlison, Moani, maybe. That's where I'm kind of thinking. Or then you drop, say, Bergvall or Gray and you put in Simmons. And then hope for the best.
Is Simmons coming off the left for you, or is he more 10?
I'm thinking more 10, to be honest. Use Richarlison on the left or Moani on the left.
Yeah. I'd prefer Richarlison on the left. I like him better there. He's a runner. He'll track back. He works well. I'm not saying Moani doesn't, but I think Moani is a better finisher. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I think it'd be a 4-3-3. Don't think we're going to need Paulinho and Bentancur. We need one of them. So either or, I'm relatively happy with. I think off of that, I'd like to see Lucas Bergvall, and I'll be happy with a Sarr or Gray, because Gray is a bit of a box-to-box player. Frontline wise, I think Kudus needs to play. I think Javi Simmons needs to play. Kudus needs to play after being injured. So that front three or front four, if we're playing with a 10, we've got a lot of options available to us, which is nice to have.
The only question is, though, who are the best options out of them? Because we've got Johnson coming back from his suspension. I thought he could have made an impact last night. I thought Odebear could have made an impact, to be honest, because Emre wasn't great at right back, and Mendes was quite open at left back. I don't think we was that clinical to use space enough last night for it in all the opportunities. So, yeah, you definitely got Tell to come back in. You got Johnson, you got Odebear, you've then got Scarlett, who obviously me and you were definitely hoping that he would have been given a bit of game time since we saw him a couple of weeks back. Simmons as well. And it looked like Bergvall was playing in the front line at times last night as well. So maybe he's adapting his game to play as an inside forward as well. So we have the options. It's just who the best ones are for us. And you've still got Kulu, Maddison, Solanke to come back. And if we believe in what the reports are and what we're hearing, that there's going to be new left-sided attackers and other attackers looked at in January as well, then there are options there. We just got to get the right ones for me.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of options. We've got a lot of good players. If we could get the balancing issue right, I wouldn't be opposed to see a Kudus on the left or a Kulichevsky on the left, because they're crossing balls in. Moani's a handful in the air. We know Richarlison can be. Solanke is. I know a lot of people like the throwback stuff now, the retro kicks and the throw-ons. Why are we not getting two wingers that can cross a football rather than having inverted wingers, and we've got options, certainly. So I'm excited for the future. I think that last night was building blocks, was hopefully the start of something exciting. Just before we finish, because obviously just going to do a quick one today. Yesterday, the Tottenham under-19s also played in the UEFA Youth League. They did lose 5-2 to PSG under-19, so slightly worse than the first team. Oliver Iro with a goal and James Roswell, I think it was.
Yeah.
James Roswell, good centre-half, young, 19 I think he is, 18, 19. So we saw him a few weeks back, and I was quite impressed with him. I thought he was a really good player.
And he made the bench, didn't he? Was it in the cup game earlier this year? I think it was something like that.
He did, and I think last night we had Luca Williams-Barnett on the bench. Let me just check the other young lads.
Him. I think we had Byfielders on there as well. I'm not mistaken.
Tina Thompson was. Byfield's broke his arm, isn't he? Let me just check. We had, Tina Thompson was on the bench, and Luca Williams-Barnett from the academy.
And then Dane.
So again, nice to see him in and around. Yeah, good to see him in and around the team. Both played. Luca Williams-Barnett played the full 90, and Tina Thompson was subbed off last night. So it's nice to see them in the first team, but also playing. But fortunate they did lose 5-2, dropping slightly down in the UEFA Youth League now, down to 12th after 5 games, 3 wins, 2 defeats. That's 2 defeats back to back now. Obviously, last weekend losing to Copenhagen, last game day losing to Copenhagen 3-2 at home. So yeah, nice to see some of our academy boys making the first team. However, it's just because we've been really shit with our homegrown. Let's be fair about it.
Well, our hopes will rest on Archie, on Lucas, on Vuskovic, all of these becoming homegrown qualified players before the age of 21 now. And because we have so many of our young players out on loan, there's only just one I wanted to get your thoughts on, mate. And it's an age-old question. And it's a player I know me and you hold very dearly. Jamie Donnelly. Where do we go with him in the future now? Because obviously Devine's playing, Dorrington is playing when he's not injured, Phillips continues to make the squad. Donnelly ain't even making the squad now.
No. It's worrying, it's concerning. It happens to quite a few players, doesn't it? They sort of stagnate. And I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him back and sending him out again somewhere else. We may need to look at, even if it's slightly lower level, I know, maybe League One, League Two. I know that doesn't sound great, but reason I'm saying that, it just needs the minutes. It needs the time. However, if you're saying to me, who do I want to come back from loan? Up for us. still me, Callum?
Sorry, mate. I think the signal's going. Can you hear me?
You still with me?
Can you hear me now?
Have I lost you? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think I've lost. Well, it looks like I've lost Callum, so it is what it is there. We're going to drop in for half an hour anyway. But yeah, appreciate. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Appreciate all of you joining live. We will be back on a full break of this week and this week's coming game against